Mary and Martha were twin girls born into a life of extreme poverty. Their small village was nestled in a rural area, far from the hustle and bustle of city life. The road to their house was a testament to their struggles, filled with potholes and uneven terrain. It was a miracle their little hut still stood. Mary and Martha lost their parents at a very young age. Tragedy struck when Mary and Martha were just 6 years old. Their parents were involved in a fatal car accident on their way home from a market trip. The loss of their parents was devastating for Mary and Martha. They were left alone and scared, with no one to care for them. Their village community came together to support them, but it wasn't the same as having their parents by their side. As they grew older, Mary and Martha became increasingly desperate to escape their poverty-stricken life. To make ends meet, Mary and Martha took on various odd jobs. Washing clothes for the villagers, babysitting for working-class mothers, and even helping out on neighboring farms. Their diet consisted mainly of palm oil rice, with tiny pieces of dried fish scattered on top. It was a meager meal, but one they were grateful for nonetheless. Their hut was a humble abode, with a thatched roof that leaked whenever the rains came. The air inside was thick with the smell of damp earth and mold. The twins would often joke that their hut smelled like a combination of wet socks and yesterday's cooking. But despite the smell, the hut was home, and the twins loved it. The twins would huddle together, watching as the raindrops dripped through the thatched roof, forming tiny puddles on the earthen floor. At night, when the rains came, the twins would listen to the sound of the raindrops on the roof. It was a soothing sound, like 1,000 tiny fingers tapping on the thatch. But when the rain seeped through the roof, it created a rhythmic patter on the earthen floor, like a drumbeat in the darkness. Mary and Martha were identical twins, but they had distinct personalities. Mary was the more outgoing of the two, with a quick wit and a sharp tongue. She was the one who would often speak up for the two of them, who would negotiate with the villagers for better prices. Martha, on the other hand, was quieter, more reserved. She was the one who would listen, who would observe, and who would think deeply before speaking. Despite their differences, the twins were inseparable. They shared a special bond, one that only comes from sharing a womb. They could sense each other's emotions, could finish each other's sentences, and could communicate without words. As time went on, the twins began to feel the weight of their circumstances. They would often sit together, watching the sun set over the horizon, and wonder if this was all life had to offer. Is this really how we are going to live our lives? Mary would ask, her voice laced with frustration. What choice do we have? Martha would reply, her eyes cast downward. We don't have any education, no certificates to speak of. These jobs barely put food on the table. The twins felt trapped, like they were stuck in a never-ending cycle of poverty. They longed for something more, something better. But what? They felt like they had no future, no hope, and no one to turn to. They became obsessed with the idea of becoming rich and successful, believing that this would bring them the happiness and security they so desperately craved. One day, as they were walking through the village, they stumbled upon a flyer advertising the services of a powerful native doctor. The flyer promised wealth, prosperity, and a life of ease, all in exchange for a small sacrifice. Mary and Martha exchanged a skeptical glance. They had heard stories about native doctors and their questionable practices. But desperation can drive people to do strange things. After much deliberation, the twins decided to visit the native doctor. They found him in a dimly lit hut on the outskirts of the village, surrounded by an aura of mystery and intrigue. The native doctor listened to their tale, his eyes glinting with a knowing spark. When they finished, he nodded thoughtfully. I can help you, he said, his voice low and hypnotic. But it won't be easy. You'll have to prove your commitment, your willingness to take a risk, and so the twins embarked on a journey that would change their lives forever. They were about to discover that the price of wealth and prosperity was steeper than they could have ever imagined. Mary and Martha exchanged a nervous glance. What did the doctor have in mind? You'll have to sleep in a coffin for 3 days and 3 nights. The native doctor continued, his eyes glinting with an otherworldly intensity. If you can do that, I promise you become rich beyond your wildest dreams,